Welcome, everybody. It's another night of VCS playoffs here on VCS English. Team Wales are taking on Cerberus, and all of the action will be brought to you by myself and the lovely Marbinogi. How are you tonight?
We are back. I am back at the very least. It's been a long while. I am very perplexed as to how we got here. I took a little bit of time off, and whilst I looked, Wales were undefeated in the league. Come back, they've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And now they're in the lower bracket of playoffs. They're up against Cerberus, who's been kind of on an upswing, taking some big scalps. I believe they beat Garm towards the end.
They did, in the last week.
Yep. And so, one's on an upswing, getting narrowly reverse swept by a backdoor from Hero in the Team Secret series, and then Team Wales just kind of getting rolled against that same opponent later on. So it's not what you'd expect to come in, and I have thoughts on why this is, but we can get into that later, because right now, hey! VCS!
Well, let's get straight into it, because Wales, they go undefeated for that first round robin. We really look at them and go like, hang on a minute. Are they now going to be a top team? Are they finally going to cement themselves? They had some massive pickups. Glory has always been this incredible mid laner. But what has happened to them, Marby? Do you have any sort of theories on what's gone wrong?
Outside of speculating on out of the rift stuff, I think the shift in the meta actually might have probably hurt them a significant amount. We saw a resurgence of supports, like these engaged supports come back, and that means the gap between B and the rest of the league in that sort of position kind of drops off, because resident Renata Enchanter type player and now everybody's playing Rel, everybody's playing that, and B has not managed to pick up the place. There's been such a weird low priority on Rel from Team Wales in particular that really stands out to me. And then I think just overall, the top lane is not quite as comfortable. Sparta not popping off as well in the Jax as he perhaps could be. Still putting up okay on showing some Cassante, and then Glory feeling a little bit less impactful on these Azir and these isolated lane picks. He's still good at them. He's still able to perform in teamfights, but because he's much more likely to play for the lane in these scenarios, he's not syncing up with his jungler very well, and he's not impacting the rest of the map and getting to the late game where Artemis and him can carry as effectively.
Yeah, for sure. And let's quickly go over to the other side, because we do have Cerberus, who I think a lot of people wrote off. Of course, we've had a very strange split in the sense that we have 6 teams make playoffs in an 8-team league, and one of those teams, I don't think we should really be counting. So it's basically 6 out of 7 made playoffs. I think a lot of people wrote Cerberus off, saying, oh yeah, they'll make playoffs, but, who isn't really? But I think that's turned around. I actually think they've really bounced back. What is your read on Cerberus? And I want you to finish your point by actually giving me a prediction for the series tonight. Okay,
so I think the biggest thing with Cerberus is it was a lot of unproven talent. We had Pun. Pun is an exception to that. And I guess Elio is another semi-veteran voice. He's been around a little bit. But then you have Ikigai, who played half a split with Flash in sharing time. You had Richard you have Richard the First, who has Richard 1, who's just been on bench sitter he's played a couple of games. Then you have Paishuro, who he's played a few games. That's it. They're very, very new players, and you sort of saw them thrown together, and you're like, okay, this probably isn't going to achieve all that much in the first split. And then they've reached the end of the split, and they seem to have found the gel. They seem to have come together a lot better. They've gotten in their reps, and now they're taking on big names and taking out Garm and Wales and all that in the series in the regular season at the end. So I think they just needed some time. And now they've got the time. I think they're on the upswing. Wales struggling a lot. I'm not 100% sure it turns around. I'm going 3-2 Cerberus.
That's a really bold call to say Cerberus gets over the line. I have two predictions, and I will pick one out of them, but I think it's either going to be 3-1 to Wales. If Wales has righted the ship, I think they just kind of win, and I give Cerberus one game where they actually do get things together, or it'll be 3-0 Cerberus. I think if Wales hasn't righted the ship and got things together, I think they just kind of lose. But if they have got themselves together, I do think they are just the better team on paper, and they should get it over Cerberus. We aren't too far away from draft, though, so we can just keep talking for a little bit. You did mention meta changes, and as we go into Champs League, so we can actually just head straight over. Don't have to buy any more time. Here we go. We have bans coming in thick and fast. LeBlanc, Tristana, Rumble, Nocturne, Rakan. Removed. Not sure who that third ban is, but the picks are coming in thick and fast. Sejuani will be the final ban.
Sejuani and Pun is hovering. So I'm a little bit confused by the graphics right now. Okay, there we go. We just needed a little bit of time to catch up. It's the instant lock Rel. This is good. This was just absent for them in their series against Team Wales, and even in the Cerberus Team Secret. And even the Team Secret Cerberus matchup, Rel was just so impactful. And I think with the nature of the VCS, just that big game-changing ultimate, its flex potential to mid and to jungle and support, I think it's just a fantastic first pick. I think it's super great in this league in particular. And the response of the Poppy Azir is strong. It doesn't show very much, but right now, Team Wales are getting exactly what they want. As Artemis gets a self-reliant AD carry, and Glory's looking for his counter pick straight away. And it's gonna be Victor Azir. Woo!
It's better than Corki Azir, at the very least. Ooh, no, we might actually get a switch over to the Nico. That's fun. Watch for any rogue minions. As you said, Team Wales is getting what they want. Getting Artemis onto the Xayah. We love to see that. That said, I don't think Cerberus is too sad. We'll have to see what Poppy is really going to do. Can reject Rel engage, of course. Also, the Poppy Copter is just always good. But how are they going to round out this first phase of draft? Wouldn't be shocked to see them pick up an AD carry. No, they're going to go for the Alistar.
Yeah, Alistar looks like they're going to lump it and then pick up a pretty much amounts to a counter pick against Rel, no matter which position she ends up in. And that makes sense to me. That seems very good. Lots of disengage options. Unfortunately, they don't go for the Kai'Sa right here, which leaves it open to being banned. And having a Kai'Sa Azir poke setup with a Poppy and an Alistar as disengage, I think could have been insanely strong. You're not going to see a Jace, of course. Jace, all the mid laners have been picked. Though I guess you could see Jace top if Pun really wanted to get weird with it. Right now, but there we see Kai'Sa banned, and now just taking away sort of picks that they think Team Wales are going to be comfortable on. The Aatrox makes a lot of sense. The Viego, less so. I don't think Viego's particularly good, but there have been quite a few jungle bans thrown out. But there's Rel, so I don't know. I don't think that's a good ban, but
yeah, it might be a read.
A support, I think.
Yeah, it might be a read that BJ doesn't play it. As you said, Rel has been largely absent for Wales in both roles, and maybe they're just making the read that it's B that's picked it up. Of course, we don't really have that insight, but maybe Cerberus does. Sivir. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so this is very much saying we do not care about bot lane. Sivir Alistar is just non-existent as a bot lane until level 5, yeah, so they're going to be pretty happy being pushed in, I think, and it's going to be up to how Ikigai can play around BJ in that, but seeing those 80s carry bans that have come through, Tristana, Kai'Sa, Ezreal, yes, Sivir seems to be the next on the tier list within the VCS, and that's just what Pashiro has gone for, and Sparta's going to play it safe with a K'Sante pick. It's one of his best. And now they're looking to round it out support or jungle, giving themselves time to think. Rakan's bad, I think. Yeah, Nautilus makes a lot of sense, but I mean, Maokai was open. I would have preferred a Maokai switch, but
yeah, I mean, that does kind of tell me that maybe B isn't comfortable on the rail. Because I do think Rel going to the bot lane, picking up the Maokai for the jungle would have made a lot of sense. I am a little bit worried, to borrow a term from Rebel Fox, of Vosharden. Where damage. Artemis, you have a lot of weight on your shoulders, I feel.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Nico provides plenty of damage because he's a bruiser in disguise.
Well, hang on a sec. I have to feel like if Nico is getting significant damage off in team fights, where Azir, you gotta just reject it every time. Just get it out of there.
I mean, Pot Blossom on its own doesn't. I don't think there's that much of a damage issue. I think there's plenty enough coming out from Cassante, Rel, and Nico to make up. Now, of course, it's not going to be as much as an Azir and a Jax and a Sivir.
I just don't know how you get onto them.
I think they have. I think with how squishy the composition is, I think you're not necessarily hurting for damage. You're not really trying to bust through a big. I mean, that's the Poppy, I guess, but I don't think it's that bad. I think the drafts are fine. But yeah, I am mostly worried more about side laning potential in terms of that situation, because I think this Jax is going to become a problem. I think the wave management is going to be strong from Cerberus. And yeah, I do give them the edge, but it's not a no damage reason.
Yeah, I mean, look, I see what you're saying. I think if you can hit, then Wales does plenty of damage. Obviously, yeah, Cassante, it's not a tank. He's everything. You know, he's a Warlocker, he's a Death Knight, he's a mage.
Unfortunately, Showmaker is currently playing right now, so he can't provide us with his list.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, but I do feel like if there's proper positioning and proper vision control, I think it's very hard for Team Wales, outside of Artemis, on the Xayah, to hit Cerberus. But, of course, proper positioning and proper vision control is not necessarily the lowest bar in the world, and they could definitely trip over that. It's going to be interesting. I think there's a burden of execution on Cerberus. I think if they make a mistake, they just die. But if they don't make a mistake, I have to favour Cerberus in here in this game more.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to come down to Ikigai and Elio and their ability to play bouncer extremely well. Because, well, they've got the chance for it, but they're going to have to go up against pretty strong engage from Nautilus and Rel, so we'll see if they can do it.
But onto the Rift we go, as we load in for Game 1 of Wales taking on Cerberus here in the lower bracket of our playoffs. Have a look at the runes. Nothing jumping out as overly surprising. It's all looking very standard, Marmy.
Yeah, the only one that sort of stands out to me is the Aftershock on the Alistar. That signals to me a little bit more willingness to fight early, look for a bit of something with trying to use that Aftershock before your ultimate comes on through. So we're going to keep an eye on Elio, but other than that, nothing seems amiss. Maybe a bit of a squishy bee going for that Glacial Augment instead. And though I guess we have to see the Conqueror build. We see the Conqueror on Azir. That's always the what does Azir build as. That's a Nico in the mid lane. There's a Nico. That's not Artemis. Getting thrown by the minimap.
Yeah. Nico, the nightmare of casters and players, all the same. I mean, look, there's a bit of a biffo down here in the bot lane. This bot lane should just be a farm fest. You've got to think Artemis absolutely loves that, given the caliber of AD carry that he is. You know, there is the Saishiro 400 CS win condition. He is playing Sivir. But, you know, if you had to tell me, hey, you have one VCS AD carry, he has 400 farm to win you the game. Who do you want? Does everyone pick Artemis?
Possibly. Someone might pick Shogun. Maybe not the split. I don't know, but we're working on name. We're working on name brands here. We're working on brand value. And yeah, this is good. We're good to see from Team Wales hitting that level 2 first. That should have been pretty much as expected. Cerberus playing with the respect, not letting themselves get bullied, hitting level 2 very quickly afterwards, and I wanted to see a little bit more aggression coming out from Team Wales, try and push it, try and force it, maybe a little bit hard with the Nautilus specifically into this matchup, but they definitely want to try and keep that pressure on, and now that Rel's sort of finishing up her clear, we'll be coming down to match Ikigai, and just sort of they'll just want to try and hover around here. I don't think they're going to look for anything. A dive would be pretty insane against the Silver Alistair this early on, and I'm fairly sure they have a decent read on where the Poppy is, so not expecting much to happen, just a bit more pressure coming out of these lanes. Mid and bot going well for Wales. Sparta once again struggling in this top side as Punch just having a free farm on the Jacks, getting straight into the backside, starting up the proxy. More and more common by the top laners these days.
I mean, I think this was really good by Sparta. Sorry, not by Sparta, sorry, by Pun. Recognized that he was, they were on the weak side, and he wins the 1v1. So yeah, just go farm the proxy. He gets really, really good back timing. Level 4, that's just fundamentals of League of Legends. That's beautiful from Pun.
Yeah, it's actually not working out quite as big as a lead as expected, as Glory's gonna put his foot down.
No, I'm sorry, it's a huge lead. I'm sorry, I have to jump in. That is a massive lead. It's a teleport.
It's a counterpoint. It's a teleport before 10 minutes. It doesn't mean all that much.
I think that gets translated. I think in 3 minutes that turns into 2 waves, but we'll see.
Basically, all I'm trying to say is it's nothing at the moment. It's not that big right now. Sparta rather able to last hit effectively on the turret. He's able to keep the CS close. He's able to get a decent back of his own. Has to blow the teleport. Now, this is where they can try and punish it, as the top laners or the junglers rather, have moved to this top lane. Now,
stun has already been used. BJ spotted. Pun, you have to get away here. Ikigai coming in. Good flash there from Pun to dodge the flip back. Unfortunately, BJ was just a little bit closer and was able to get into the lane first, which means Pun is now down a flash. They're going to be able to crash this wave, sort of neutralize any lead that could have been built. But Sparta, I feel like, given that he did use his flash in that play, is still vulnerable.
Yeah, they didn't quite execute. BJ not willing to commit his own flash, I think, seeing Ikigai while he was halfway through the dismount, so doesn't flash for it. Because that could have been a pretty bad turnaround gank if anyone had ended up on the tower. So, in the end, it's a good, nice response from BJ, able to even up that top lane now that teleport is going to come out.
3-man.
And everything's even.
Elio on a walk to the mid lane. They want to try and find Glory. Picks wrong. Pop Blossom trying to flash away. It's a disaster, Marby. Oh, lovely headbutt. And oh no, here we go. Artemis gets that first blood, taking him down. And Richard and Ikigai just have to limp away.
Yeah, just Elio picking incorrectly. Thinking Glory's going to try and juke south, but doesn't happen. Gets caught out on the very edge of that Pop Blossom, and that's going to be a pick and a nice rotation from the Team Wales bot lane straight into the mid lane, straight into the Dragon, and they're going to be able to pick up that wave to losing absolutely nothing. And these are the early boots by paying out huge from Artemis going for that mid lane roam.
Oh, a catch has come back in, and Artemis is just going to go down. Just caught on the timing.
Yeah, they just didn't expect the re-engage, the flash engage coming out there. So this is just nice. Elio, I think, actually just wanted to leave. Saying, no, we're calling it off. But yeah, B and Artemis just not where they're expected to be. Unlucky a little bit for the side of Team Wales. They're not able to finish off Richard as well, but it's all fine. Now, BJ is level 6. His ultimate is down. He didn't have that in that mid lane play, so I think he just used that to dissuade a dive bot side.
Sorry, who did you say? BJ?
So, BJ, yes.
He's level 5.
He's level 5.
It's very difficult to have your ultimate at that point.
Yes, it is. No, but yeah, no. I
understand. I understand what you mean. There's that little white line that's normally the cooldown. I get what you mean. We have a Biffo up in the top side. All out goes Sparta. Pun happy to trade ults there.
Yeah, Sparta just Wing the complete wrong direction there. Might have been able to keep the trade going.
BJ around.
Oh, he's just hitting a ward. They're not going to look for anything.
Doesn't have ult. It just gets it. Got level 6 off the ward.
Yeah, ward experience, kind of huge. Make sure to give it to everybody. Just give it to whoever you wants it. Either the AD carry or the support.
Really committal. Who cares?
Look,
anyway.
Honestly, it's actually not that much in the long run, but
Anyway, we are on to the Rift Herald. Team Wales, I actually think, have been pretty fantastic here. They are dropping CS in some important positions, notably the AD carry. Glory is kind of just dominating 1v1 as there is an interrupt coming in here. BJ in some trouble. I has already been claimed, so they get the objective. Now just need to run towards top lane, but Sparta is not here to help BJ, but the dismount will be enough. Gets away, they get the objective. Team Wales are looking good.
Yeah, Pasha has played a pretty standard game of just parking a lane, farm up waves as the Sivir. Artemis has decided to play second support, second jungle. He's been roaming. He's been on the map, trying to impact everything.
I agree with that.
Impact in the mid lane. He's moved his way into this top side, and there's no herald for him right now. But if he can keep making this impact and try and find a play to accelerate him, to catch up that CS deficit, that'll be great for him. Because right now he's slipping behind a little bit, and it's going to rely a lot on Glory in these mid-game team fights to try and do a bit more heavy lifting while this Sire is a little bit behind.
For sure. And I mean, it really is just the call of, will Saishiro be able to 1v9 as a, 300 CS Sivir? That's really just going to be the question. It's obviously not going to be super easy. I think this is really good by Team Wales. They're proactive on the map. You were talking about how they've been struggling with Glory, unable to act as that fulcrum, linking up with BJ and moving around. Okay, Glory doesn't have to do it. Glory can just win his lane and have Artemis do it.
This is a bit of throwback, but I'm getting vibes of 2017 Fnatic, when Caps just joined the team, but he had no clue how to play a side lane, so they made Reckless do it, and you had all the weird Reckless one side laning of Vayne sort of things. But I mean, it worked for them there, and maybe this will be enough for Team Wales to do it, to make that resurgence in the playoffs now. But because right now they've been playing a decent late game against Cerberus.
It's just it's just a Nautilus and Alistair having a fight. You don't need to stop talking for that. It's alright. There's no play-by-play to be done.
There are many AD carries right next to
But, Bobby, I have a question for you. Does Sivir really need a static Shiv? Does she really need help deleting waves?
Yes. On the grounds of more is always good.
Is it? I think it's overkill.
I mean, more is always good. Also, it lets you sort of...
Really? What if it was bombs?
I mean, there is a very excited Yordle who would very much say more bomb good. He's not here at the moment, but he's also been wave clear. So with the changes to Sivir and you're not building Essence Reaver really on Sivir anymore. You don't get mana back from your spell shield. It lets you keep your mana around for the team fights, and while we're still on the patches where Static Shiv is good,
Ikigai?
That's a little bit better.
Okay, tried to look for something, but reinforcements were there for both teams, so it is just a disengage. We remain at 1 kill apiece. But the Dragon on the map and Cerberus do have pride of positioning around it. Glory just scouting it out with a clone. I don't think anyone's actually going to start this Dragon up right now. I don't think they're really in a rush.
Yeah, Pun was looking for a recall so he could maybe try and walk down, I think. But far to stop that, now that with the Rift Herald drop, going to force a bit of pressure into the mid lane.
It's not really.
It might just be looking for a Dragon to bot lane turret trade as the position of Cerberus moves.
Big crash coming in. BJ really stuffs the engage there. That was awful.
Alright, they've blown pretty much, they've blown the depth charge, they've blown the flash crash down.
They got the Sivir ult in exchange. There's a Pop Blossom on the Magnet Storm. Sashiro in a lot of trouble. Lovely spell shield will keep him alive though. Throws a Boomerang Blade, contributing damage. Good knock there from Richard. Glory on the run. He's low. Elio's looking for anything. Richard will be the one that finds him. The Lionheart does pick up that first kill. Now everyone just disengages. It looked big, Marby, but it was only the one.
Yeah, Glory's not quite strong enough to one-shot, and Artemis was ejected, couldn't follow up that damage. So it's just Glory going down, and what looks like a good play is going to just result in probably a bit of nothing coming out from everybody. But Team Wales is going to try and cheat the recalls here and take this dragon uncontested.
Good call.
Which
is a good play.
Okay, yeah, you managed to sneak it through, but yeah, we're going to see right here. It starts off okay from Bean J. Great from Glory, but then
the Poppycopter. Lovely Ikigai.
Not enough damage to follow through, and Richard coming on down with that teleport pretty much secures it, as Glory is just a little bit too far forward without the backup he required.
Yeah, I feel like if Ikigai doesn't hit that ult onto Artemis, they probably pick up 3 kills there. Fantastic stuff, showing the value of the Poppy. I think sometimes with Poppy, we really fixate on what is steadfast presence blocking, what dashes is it blocking, but you gotta just remember, Poppy ult is like one of the best ults in the game, because in a lot of situations, ejecting someone from the fight is killing them. For the purpose of the fight, Artemis was dead.
There are significant portions of the early game where the knockback is actually more time wasted for that player than a death. Or like forcing someone to go back to base and recall, but yeah, I think it's just more, it's one spell used, Artemis is gone, and you just get to fight the 4v3 and you win out there. But we're back onto it now. Dragon has been taken, so now this Rift Herald is the focus for both these teams. Cerberus straight onto it. And yeah, Team Wales are probably going to have to let this go. They'll probably poke in and see they're a bit too late.
They're teleporting.
Okay, never mind.
No, they don't want to give this up. The teleport is seen. They don't want to tangle with Sparta, as he's just going to go straight in, doing a fair bit of CC. Goes all out onto Elio. I don't think that's who you really want. Poppycopter not doing much, but Pun doing a hell of a lot. Pop Blossom's going to turn it around. Jack's will be the first one gone down. BJ surfing in. They need to find some damage. Sashiro has been fundamentally ineffective this fight so far, but now Wales on the run, they turn it around. Back onto Ikigai. Sparta rejected from the side, but Ikigai going down. Ikigai falls. Elio in some trouble, getting pecked by Artemis. In the end, it'll just be Team Wales picking themselves up 2 kills and a Herald.
Yeah, able to finish out playing that a little bit cleaner right at the end there. It looks like Ikigai could maybe stall it with Elio on top for Rich and Sivir to get something done, but the damage isn't quite there yet from the carries of Cerberus, not able to turn that situation around, and just 2 kills and a Rift Herald from Team Wales, and what I did not expect them, in a fight I didn't expect them to take. Here I think they were trying to isolate Ikigai, but ends up taking Elio, which is not really what you want, and the Poppycopter misses, so this is just a straight up fight. Glory finds a huge knock up there to stall it out, secure the kill onto Pun. And then a great hook from B. Cerberus just trying to chase a little bit too much. They have a decent health lead, but then they get a split call here, and the carries are just not in position to catch the turnaround from Elio.
I also think, to go back to a point we were making earlier regarding the static shiv on Sivir, you have 2 of the carries from Cerberus going a low damage first item, because Richard has gone the crown, and I don't necessarily think the crown's a terrible decision this game, I'm not trying to say that, but it is a low damage first item. You've also got a static shiv, which is the lower damage first item. Maybe you shouldn't fight until second item.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Especially that chase back. If you just lost Pun on that, you weren't really looking for that fight. They tried to peel off as soon as the teleport came in. So yeah, you sacrificed Pun, you did your best, whatever, cut your losses. But yeah, then they chased a little bit too far for sure. And yeah, we're just gonna sort of wait and see. We're waiting for those quick plays to come through from Sivir. Then she's gonna start hitting like a truck on that boomerang. We're waiting for that Nash's Tooth so the soldiers can start doing damage. And then we're going to have to see Cerberus actually pick up for a fight. And in 1 minute is probably a little bit early, but I would fully understand if they didn't really want to give up Soul Point for free. They're going to lose mid tower, and they probably just won't have the ability to really approach it properly unless they get fancy with a flank from Pun, who's in a decent position on the bot side. Going to take this tower for free.
Yeah, not bad here. Pun able to get a bit of gold back towards Cerberus, a little bit of pressure on the map. Oh, sorry, excuse me. We'll see if that actually matters in the long run, as this actually means that Sparta is going to be able to bounce the wave back. It should be in a neutral position as the objective spawns. There is a bit of a play brewing around the top side. If they could pick off Glory, it'd be huge, but the play is diffused.
Yeah, just a bit too much wave click going on at the moment. Glory playing it pretty aggressively with this rocket belt buy, looking to really have his impact early as possible. And with this dragon coming up soon, it can pay off pretty well. It also gives him another angle to try and pop that crown, because they don't have the best options to do that. Really just the Q from Artemis, maybe a splash Tangle Barb coming through. But Team Wales are actually just going to get on top of it well before Cerberus respond, and that should be free from them. The Baron's not even up as a counter response, so tower trade on the top is the best they can hope for.
Yeah, and unfortunately they don't really have Sivir just farming anything for free while that's happening. You'd love to have had Sivir in the bot lane, maybe in the top lane if the waves had been in a different spot. Because I do think that's your win condition. Saishiro is your 400 CS win condition alongside an Azir. I feel like giving up the Drake was correct. I don't think they could fight there. They didn't have that second item that's only just now come in, the Quick Blades. But you have to get something for it, even if it's just a couple of free waves, which is just not enough.
They ended up getting a top tower onto Richard, which is good. Gets the Azir closer to his second item. And then Jax is trying to catch as much farm on the bot side as possible, but yeah, it's a slow burn for them. They're really trying to hit this late game because they have 3 incredibly strong scaling damage carries in those positions. But now Baron's up. Now the dance really begins, and Team Wales are coming in at a pretty deceptively commanding position. Towers are even, gold is dead even. But there are 3 dragons in back pocket and a little bit more oomph right now in some of these champion kits. So Team Wales, it's much closer than it actually kind of feels right now, but so they really kind of need to push the pedal on this Baron, I think, and try and bait Cerberus into making a big mistake and take a team fight they really shouldn't be.
I agree. I definitely agree. I would want to be probably not starting Baron. At 20 minutes, he still does a fair bit of damage. You don't really want to fight after your tanks have been smacked around. But you need to be pressuring it. You need to be finding something out. And at the moment, I mean, you can't keep Richard off an item for 3 minutes. That would obviously be ideal, but it's just not going to happen. I think the best thing you can do is try and put pressure on Pun, so that maybe he's not at 2 items for the next Dragon Fight. I think that's going to be really, really hard, because he must be close to his second item. But I think that's the best course of action for Wales.
Yeah, the Team Wales are definitely trying to play... Okay, currently we're trying to play Bush.
I don't think this
might walk into it.
There's the hook. They're going to go all in on Ikigai. Good flash away. Elio kind of just left as a sacrifice. Poppycopter is good. In goes Sparta. There's a lot of layered CC, but the damage isn't quite there. First kill will be onto the Sivir. That's an excellent click. Pun turns it around onto Glory, but the health bars are in favor. And now Artemis joins the fight. Down goes Richard. Pun landing a 4-man stun. Jumps over the wall, but Artemis will flash after him. Needs one more and will get it. 3 kills picked up for Wales.
Artemis is not letting his old teammate get away with that. He's going to pick up He's going to pick up that final kill, and with that, they can turn onto the Baron, trying to eject Ikigai was the play. They didn't get the kill, but he's absent from the fight. He can't contest this Baron, and they picked up 3. They pick up the Baron, and only Glory has to go down in the process. And that was essentially a 4v5 for a lot of it, because Artemis got kicked out, and he had to return, and now they have a Baron. Now they can break open what are a lot of remaining base structures, and
it gets some soul
beautifully to turn into a soul.
And I feel like this is Save Your Friend Syndrome 101. Elio, just leave him to die.
Yeah, no, I fully understand Elio going in as a sort of I'm getting my jungler to stay.
I'm
safe
getting my
on
jungler. Elio goes in, saves Icky Guy, and then he just gets to die. He dies for the sins of his jungler, and you lose one person. Okay, that sucks, but you probably don't lose Baron off that. The fact that you decide to re-engage when you're in a terrible position, you just can't do it. You can't save your friends.
Yeah, I think they definitely got baited in by that poppycopter landing onto Artemis. But now they're in a decent position. We're gonna see how much they can do with this Baron in terms of getting gold on the map. They haven't really set up their waves properly at all yet, so nothing so far.
I actually don't. I'm not sure how much that matters. I think just having Baron, making sure the waves are all positively pushed for you, because you weren't really planning to get Baron there. That was very opportunistic. I think you just take the Baron gold, take the wave state, and just get a soul.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always want to see teams maximize Barons. You can definitely teams where if they get Baron, they almost essentially win the game. We want to see what Team Wales is going to get out of this. It's an opportunistic Baron for sure, and right now, because they're playing around this soul, they are stuck on a situation where it's not great for them to. They're not going to pick up any extra towers because they already broke these out. That's for sure. Now the soul's coming up in 10 seconds. They have the push, but they've been they're being neglectful of this bot wave. So now Pound has a good wraparound. There's a potential angle.
Oh, hang on. Hook onto Elio, taking a lot of damage. The Alistair ult is burned. They get the knockaway on Sparta. In comes Pun. They can't turn it around, though. B still has his flash hooks back in. There's the Pop Blossom. Only lands onto Pun. Into the Magnet Storm. The Azir wall goes up, but it doesn't matter. The damage has already been done. Saishiro is fundamentally useless, as he can't even auto-attack. He just stands there, watches his team die. You can't play Sivir. If you are not going to auto-attack there, get off the champion.
Yep, played very far back, trying to use the Boomerang Blade, but that's not anywhere near enough. They needed to go all in. They sent Sparta where they had the opportunity to try and find an angle, but you can tell Cerberus are just trying to figure things out late. They try to catch in, and then this ult. They don't fail the shuffle opportunity because B flashes away. The re-engage is in there. And Python, he tries to leave with the ultimate. Okay, he's knocked up for a lot of that.
What are you doing? Okay. This is the thing. Like, I agree, it's not a super easy situation. But if that's not a situation you're comfortable playing, you can't play Sivir. You're a professional. I'm sorry. Pick a different champion. That's my point.
What does he pick there?
You shouldn't be. I mean, ideally, you shouldn't be in that. I mean, pick them in the first three. If that's this is where it counts as like if you are not able to operate in that situation, it is a failing as a player. I think you have to be able to operate in that situation, and if you can't build this team comp. It's not entirely his fault. Don't get me wrong. The team got caught.
Like, I think you're definitely being way too harsh. Like, he tried to run away. He got knocked up. He spent a lot of that unable to actually interact with the champions. I just want to be clear. He got knocked up because he mistimed his spell shield on a Nautilus ult. I'm just saying. By something else. Then he shouldn't have pressed it because he got winged by a one feather. That's what popped it. Don't press it. Oh no, you can absolutely always. Oh my God.
You can time a Nautilus ult! It has an animation!
Moving along! Instead of bullying this poor teenager. Now, Baron is still a while away, still a minute away. They've picked up the soul. They've managed to crack an extra couple of towers. Team Wales in a fantastic spot to continue out the rest of this game. So then it comes, how does Cerberus try and respond from here? And that's where it sort of struggles. You don't have as much. Your composition is definitely more of a kite back type composition. You definitely want to try and get as much poke down with this Azir Sand Soldiers and Boomerang Blades as possible. But with this AoE slow coming out from the Hextech Soul, it becomes a lot harder. So you're almost just looking for some kind of combo where you knock away the front line and get a good Counter-Strike plus Pulverize onto carries of Team Wales, and that might still be a bit rough right now, given it's a Zaya and a Nico with the Zonyas, so it might be lights out, it might just be delay as long as possible and discuss game 2.
I mean, look, if you can delay it enough, even looking down Sol, as much as I've been giving him a hard time, it's still Sivir. At some point, the champion becomes very difficult to deal with, as does Azir. Pun could stop, if he can find better angles to engage at, better, timings, could definitely go a long way. I think Richard's actually been very good. I've actually been pretty impressed with his Azir. Obviously, it's not enough at the moment, but he's put up some very good ults. He's actually been poking quite well. Azir, as the game goes on, does get scarier and scarier. I don't think Cerberus is fully dead, but I think it might be a game 2 angle.
Yeah, the opportunities slimmer and slimmer for the side of Cerberus, for sure, and you got a pretty weak Poppy right now, going for the Imashal. Wanted some earlier power, but in the end it's just going to be a little bit weaker, quite squishy as well with the face rush. So not having quite as much frontline as they want. They need to land good ultimates. Poppy Copter charging. And
Pun is managing to distract them, but he's already burnt his flash. In goes Glory, only getting the Pop Blossom onto 1, but it's an important one. Lots of damage. Here we go. Sashiro actually performing really well in this fight. Has managed to chunk out Sparta and B&J, forcing them back. Pun is going to have to back, but does have TP. So does Sparta. I don't think this is not an angle for Cerberus to start Baron, I don't think. But even just stopping Wales is not awful.
Glory's on a ward. This is dangerous if they find the
I
tank.
don't think they need to. Okay. You don't need to.
I think. Well, I guess also they thought it was Artemis. He was disguised as Artemis. They probably thought, okay, he'll have ult. He'll be fine.
Maybe.
So I think that's part of the decision they didn't go for it, because they thought, okay, we can't. The Zaya would be able to get away.
I also...
They knew it was a Nico. I think that's a free pick, and that stops what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. They do need to get vision in the pit. There's the teleport being called. Richard will be joining the fight. That's a huge ult from B&J immediately. Lovely stuff from Richard, but I don't know if it's going to quite be enough. Saishiro desperately on the run, but all out goes Cassante. Good stun from Pun, but it's not enough. And Team Wales are getting everything. Triple kill for Sparta, and Cerberus have been beheaded.
Yeah, and they were never intending to take the Baron. They just wanted them close enough. The instant turn from B&J, they clean up that fight. They're going to be able to turn straight back
Baron,
to the Baron.
Reset, Elder.
Baron, reset. Elder. I mean, there is the minor question of trying to push the bot and mid lane wave up, so Elder doesn't actually get to be much of a question. You can't. It's not really in discussion. You're not trying to take that instantly to stop a potential steal angle. But yeah, I think you're not going to get much of a choice here. Cerberus are probably going to beeline straight towards that, and now Sparta's going to have to defend that for while he can.
Yeah, I mean, this is last chance saloon for Cerberus. I think a 50-50 on this Elder. Pretty much your last hope. Let's have a look at this replay. It starts out with a good play from B&J.
Yeah, and this time, it's only the Nautilus being knocked away. It doesn't matter, and Glory getting past Richard to get the huge knock-up opens up the angle for Sparta to go all out onto the carry. And then from there, it's just Richard trying his best, but he's completely he's pretty much isolated at that point as everyone's playing Protect the Sivir. And he's pumping out what damage he can, but he just can't quite find enough.
Hook onto Ikigai. The 50-50's gone. They're just going to turn around. They probably won't even take the Elder. Richard will fall as well. Artemis picking up a double. And Team Wales looking absolutely fantastic. They've closed this one out well. And now we are just looking at the death throes of Cerberus.
Yep. And as long as they don't do something insane like the Fountain, we should be definitely hitting that game too, as Team Wales looking like they're back on the horse. B&J leading the charge on that rel. Able to have a pretty fantastic game. They prioritized it immensely. They're playing this way safer than I was expecting. But I guess Sivir is up. Ikigai's up very shortly as well, so just take the dragon before the puppy is back on the map. Don't risk a damn thing, because you are in a lower bracket. You have had a rough time of it so far. You want to make sure you get this win and can turn your mental around. Okay.
There's the secure. It doesn't matter. Pun already going low. Pop Blossom will secure some executes. Sparta going all out, chasing Sideshow out of the fight. Not that it really matters, as Artemis picks himself up too. And really, this is all just a formality. It's not like there's anything Cerberus can do here. Truly, were it not for the professional rules, FF would be typed.
Alright. Here we go. 5-man ultimate shuffle onto the fountain. I believe in you, buddy.
Yeah, I think, maybe he's got, like, the augment, like, that you get in Arena, that can make him do, like, lots of damage or something. Maybe that'll work, but no, I don't think it will, as Team Wales bouncing back after several weeks of very, very disorganized low-level play. He actually does get one scoop on the B&J. It doesn't actually matter, as the Nexus will fall. Interesting angle to watch it from, but there it goes, finally. Cerberus will lose themselves game 1. Team Wales bouncing back after a very, very poor run in recent memory. They do get themselves back on the winner's side, at least in this game 1.
Yeah, Observers definitely, Team Wales playing with the Observers a little bit, taking their time on that Nexus, but all in all, they played a very nice early game. Cerberus kept it extremely close, but in the end, there was just the big team fights, and that turns into a Baron, and then pure control from that point onward. And you see at that goal graph, it's so even, jumps up to Wales, and then jumps up to the end. And it was played much closer than I was expecting from. Well, actually, it was played about as close as I was expecting. But Team Wales coming in together. Their late game proved to be a lot better than Cerberus's, which you would hope for from a veteran squad like this. And we're going to see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, I do think there are bright spots for Cerberus. I think Wales, in the end, did look much better. But there were bright spots. I think Richard actually played really well on the Azir. I think he handled Glory fairly well, even though in the early game, Nico's a bit of a lane bully. It's hard to handle that. He did well. I think if the team had played around him more, I think he could have really carried. I think Pun had a shocker. We didn't really talk about it much in game because all we were really talking about was him getting stuns and then instantly dying. I think he had a shocker.
Yes.
If he bounces back, we know Pun is a quality player. He had a bad game. That was not great. But he can bounce back. We can keep it going in games 2, 3, 4, potentially 5. I don't think Cerberus is dead in this series, is what I'm saying. But I do think Wales looked like the much better team in game 1. And with that, we will...
I've got nothing much to add.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We will be going to a short little break, and we'll be back with Game 2 of Team Wales taking on Cerberus. Don't go anywhere. This is VCS English, your best source for English VCS content. Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 of Team Wales taking on Cerberus. We are going straight into champions like Zaya, Tristana, LeBlanc, Poppy, Jace, and Rel have been removed, and teams have swapped sides, and Pun will get his Rumble.
That's a fascinating first pick. Okay, so there's flexibility there. You could run it jungle. We have seen that so far this playoffs. You can run it support. I don't think Elio will, but the Rumble first pick seems to me that they really want to try and push Sparta in the top side and try and play through top, but I'm just confused by that one, but it gives Team Wales almost too much left to deal with. They're like, what are we going to go for? We're going to go for the Nocturne because it's the VCS and we always think this champion is good. And we're gonna go for the Nico again.
Glory played well.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Rel is off the table, so BJ can't do the same. But the Nocturne, high priority in this league and nowhere else. But in it comes. And now I'm gonna see where does Team Wales, or Team Cerberus rather, fill out the rest of their comp. I would take some early prior onto 80 carries, given the heavy ban direction of Team Wales right now. But
yeah, you can just grab your bot lane here, potentially try and save some counter picks, even though you kind of know where Nico's going. Kindred. Okay. I mean, I'm never going to complain about seeing some Kindred play. Ikigai going for that one. And does Galio even exist at the moment?
I mean, Richard did spend several years behind Froggy. We have to remember that. He spent quite a long time on the bench behind the Frogster, so this Galio Kindred is definitely something in their wheelhouse. It might also sort of be a B takeaway. Don't want to pair that with the Nocturne, but I'm just...
I mean, Kindred is good, in the sense that...
not meta.
You have a one-shot, you have a lot of one-shot potential because you turn out the lights with Nocturne, it lets B&J get close because they can't see, gets a Pop Blossom, and someone gets one-shot, but if they're near a Kindred just ults, and if the one-shot doesn't happen, maybe their team comp falls apart. So the Kindred makes total sense. I'm really not questioning the Kindred at all. The Galio is sort of playing into the same thing. He just ults. You know, when they jump in, you just ult on top of whoever they go on, give them the magic shield, and obviously follow with a knock-up. So I actually think it's a good counter rotation. More ADCs getting banned out, though. Artemis is almost certainly going to pick one up here. Could see a Zeri... maybe yes. Could also pick up the Siva that Paisho played last game.
Yeah, the Kai'Sa and the Zeri are the two most
Kai'Sa,
if we're looking globally.
Frankly, I assumed Kai'Sa was banned. Yeah, I think Kai'Sa's the obvious pick.
Yeah, I think if you can grab the Kai'Sa and then you can pick a strong, a decent top lane. I mean, okay, so Artemis has one of the deepest pools of AD carries in the league, so
very true.
Maybe looking to play around that bot lane counter pick. You don't know any of the bot lane champions for the side of Team Cerberus, most likely.
That's true.
So wanting to see everything before he locks in something, but this, yeah, it would give over the Kai'Sa option. And what?
Okay. What? Oh what? My god.
Okay, so
I understand what they're going for. They're saying that Wales is going for a all-in Deathball comp, and they have just picked uber anti-Deathball. I think the coach is sitting there, and, you know, he's got, like, an absolute 6 head right now, whoever Cerberus' coach is. He is in the kitchen. I think the recipe is fantastic. The coach has, like, put the cookbook down, and it's like, you know, 5 Michelin star Gordon Ramsay cookbook, but he's got to trust the cooks. And I think that's going to be the hard part. I think the recipe is great, but can they cook it?
So I think this is a sort of classic Reapered moment. I would refer to, where it's like, okay, we're cooking, we have gone, you have gone way too far that it's wrapped right back around to absolute garbage, because like Rumble is the only champ that you sort of see any regularity out of.
Well, no, I think this is
not necessarily a bad thing on its own.
11-15, Kindred is still good. She has been nerfed, but not. I think she got her second.
But she's not prevalent.
Yeah, I agree, but I think she's still strong. I think they get their next set of nerf on 16. They get a big nerf on 16. They're not really playable after that.
Yeah,
but on 15, I think it's fine.
Yeah, as I'm saying, Rumble is the only one you see with any prevalence around the world. So I'm, at least in the major regions, I admit I'm not fully up to date on all the smaller regions, but we are going to have to see if the screwball approach can work from Cerberus.
I think the recipe's good. It's just a matter of, but does he cook? And we'll have to find out as we do head on to the Rift for game number 2. And just give me one moment as I just do a little bit of prod stuff. So, Marby, why don't you bring us on in?
Yeah, and so we're going to come on in and we're going to take a nice gander at what on earth is happening for Cerberus. Phase Rush, Galio makes a lot of sense. Lethal Tempo coming in for Pyshro and the Callista. Tarek going for that Glacial Augment. Nothing seems out of the ordinary right now. Everything makes a lot of sense, and we're gonna have to see. I'm very interested to see the pathing from Ikigai. I think we've got Pun on this sort of weird situation where he's going to play very, very far up in the top side and try and bully Sparta, but they also, by the design of the team comp, I think almost want to leave him as isolated as possible. Don't have great ability to make ganks up there. You just sort of have a bunch of damage and not much else. If you bring Elio up there, you have the most telegraphed CC imaginable. So I think, Sparta's going to be left on... Hunan is going to be left on his own up against Sparta, and we can see the Ikigai starting on the top side. So he's going to try and make his way down there and probably try and put as much pressure down with this Callista as possible. Ophelia's going to be a little bit less impactful early on in comparison, so I think we're gonna it's gonna be an interesting one to see out. I think with the Ophelia's pivot at the end was a nice answer to what Cerberus has put down. Gives you a nice big hyper carry that can continue through that initial punch from Team Wales, even though that is what the rest of their comp sort of looks for. And I think it might be if you can set it up right, you might be able to get in there and catch something out to disrupt Cerberus. They might not be able to stop you all, get you with everything, but they also have a lot of defensive tools. They might have too many defensive tools and not enough offense as a back end. So it's gonna be an interesting one to look at.
I completely agree with you that I think the Aphelios was really, really smart. Because I think the way, if we were, running a simulator, the way these fights should go is BJ and Glory go in, they get nullified by Ikigai and Richard, and then what? Is sort of the question. One of the problems Cerberus I think is going to run into is Sparta. Cool Kindred ult, I'm not taking you there. I'm all outing you through a wall and beating you to death, and your Kindred is not here.
Yep. I think that's going to be a big thing to deal with. And also, if this had gone more or less like we expected on initially with the R480 carry, the logical and most obvious expectation would have been a Kai'Sa, which would have just almost tripled down on the all-in build, unless there's the pivot into
fight
the
coming.
But,
Ikigai, you don't get this crab. I don't think you can get this. Actually, Pun had prior, so he can.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Pun had prior.
Pun is prior. Galio's willing to push up as well. Kindred, Nocturne's not necessarily the strongest right now, so it's not that big of a deal in the 2v2. As B's gone for a little walk, just wanted to sort of make sure everything was going okay up that end. But now going to catch the wave alongside Artemis, and it's just a bit of back and forth. Just some fun, just some farming. And we're still really just waiting. Both these junglers kind of waiting for 6. Again, not the greatest gang setup for the side of the Kindred. Has the Galio to work with, but should be a little bit hard to get onto Glory. And then, yeah, there's not a lot you're working with in terms of CC until 6.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's not a huge amount Kindred wants to do other than farm. Paisho just has to burn a cleanse. Just got tagged up by the Gravitum from Artemis. And what are you... Sorry, my dog is eating something.
Yep, dog problems come kind of through. So, yeah, just Artemis and B taking a good trade up against Paisho, catching him out with a bit of CC, and having the control back onto this side on this lane. B gonna kind of find himself on the wrong end of a dazzle.
He's alright though. He's just... Rakan can just dive out. There's really no follow-up this early on. Barbie, what does Callista do in this comp?
She throws in Elio.
Is that good?
It's not as good as getting the flash off the Rumble. That's what I will say. I think if you get your timing right, the knock up into the dazzle, it's sort of the only semi-consistent form of engage on Cerberus right now, especially if you can follow it up with the grand entrance or the heroic entrance, the whatever it is, the ultimate Galio. That's, yeah, we have too many entrances.
We do.
We have 2. So I think we're gonna... I'm not sure. I think it's really just... That's why I think that's sort of circled it back around into not a good draft, because if you had just Taric bot lane as the answer to the all-in, or just Kindred Galio and then a more standard bot lane, I think you're good. I think you've overspec'd into it, and now you just don't have anything else.
Well, they do use the early power to pick themselves up a dragon, which is an improvement from last game. Cerberus to get themselves on the board there. Don't think Team Wales particularly cares. They were not contesting it whatsoever. Happy to let one Infernal go. BJ having a look in top lane, but Pun playing super safe after losing his flash. Obviously, the all-out already down from Sparta. We're just sort of chilling at the moment. Will steal himself a blue buff. Happy about that. There's no marked camps at the moment, which I think means that potentially he got one, because otherwise I think Krugs would be marked. I'd have to look. I'd have to.
100% sure. He might not have, and then it's just waiting for the next crab. I'm not sure. We'll wait until the observer hovers over it, and then we will see. But BJ just calmly farming his way to 6. He is there now, and now we get to start sort of looking, especially around the mid lane. Galio's a little bit hard to kill, particularly, but with the setup from the Nico, I think that's the most likely scenario. That said, 6 did just get hit from Artemis, so there might be enough burst in there to bring someone down and try and pop this Callista, especially before Elio can respond with the Radiance.
I do want to correct myself just quickly. Krugs can't be marked until 4. I'm wrong. Gromp. I meant to say Gromp. I meant to say Gromp, but of course Gromp was down. So I think when this Gromp respawns, it might get marked.
Quite possible.
But I don't think he's going to be able to get it. They're just over the... They're going to get a free Rift Herald. Yeah, Gromp's marked. But one mark or Rift Herald, I mean, Kindred mains will get the mark, but good junglers will get the Herald.
Yeah, Rift Herald just being given up for free. There's absolutely no response coming up from Team Wales at any point on the map. They've ignored Dragon. They've ignored Rift Herald now. They've barely even registered it's there. There was no push from Glory to try and crash mid. BJ just not on the map at the right time, getting these weird reset timers, and now he's spotted once again. So now Cerberus are just going to play extremely safe under this tower.
You can't dive this though.
Probably try and rush till 6. Yep, there we go. 6 on Elio. You can no longer dive.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just Elio. It's you have a Callista ult as well. That's the least diveable lane ever.
Pre-Callista ult, you can just kill the Callista. So, yeah, it's just BJ just sort of lost on the map. He's behind in CS. He's down 2 objectives. He's made a couple of looks into the top brush at the at Pun, I guess, but he's just done nothing so far. This Nocturne is not fast enough on the farming. He's not relevant on the map. I'm not seeing the hype so far, and of course we still have to wait for that paranoia to first pop off. But even then, there's no great combo with it. Maybe B can get a great quickness in there now that he's level 6, but yeah, we have to wait for the next team fight, which maybe won't happen at all until the next 2 minutes around this Mountain Drake, but even then, I don't even know if it will. I think it might just be a sort of ships in the night, just passing off these drakes because you don't really want to fight. Mm-hmm. But I'm just shocked.
Well, they're gonna go in. There's the paranoia, but a Rumble ult is so easy. All out comes in. Richard is coming to reinforce. Pun is going low, but being traded onto BJ. Heroic entrance, but turned around. Glory picks up the first kill onto the Kindred. Ikigai doesn't use his ult. A massive blunder from the Cerberus jungler. Richard now caught between a rock and a hard place. Bashes through the wall. Does that well. Glory can't actually get into the fight. BJ, why? But now with the grand entrance coming in, B will make sure they get one kill back. Good taunt, good flash from Richard. Elio coming in, but he doesn't exactly offer any damage. Just kind of here as moral support. And Marby, get your red noses on because the clowns are here.
Yes. What was that? That was the weirdest kerfuffle, and now it's going to end up overall actually benefiting Cerberus with the teleport down to the bot lane. This Rift Herald Crash going to come through mid to help out. And it starts off with a very early paranoia just to try and catch out Pun, but they don't have the damage.
Ikigai, where is your ult? Press it! Press it!
Yeah, okay, he just...
Wasn't CC, he could have pressed it. He had plenty of time.
Either there's a fear particle that wasn't showing, or... Yeah,
he had plenty of time.
He just didn't press it. Yeah, I can only say the only hope I can give him is greed on trying to get the kill first. But yeah, doesn't happen. Bean J tries to get the flank on a no health Octane, but B is able to close the distance and at least get one back. I don't think Glory should. Glory, I just don't think you should have changed that. You should have just stayed. I don't think the Artemis form helped at all. The Chakram's not helping you.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff. He's alright.
Now.
He's okay. On the other side, Richard in a little bit of trouble. B does pop the quickness. Good gravitum as well from Artemis, locking him up for now, but Phase Rush gets him out, but he's chunked around this dragon.
Yeah, they weren't 100% sure. They wanted to back up Glory being chased. Glory's probably screaming, guys, I need the backup, and they let Richard escape. And Glory is fine as well, but it does, as you say, chunk him out, gives a lot more time, gives a bit of a 4v5.
He does have the ult coming up in a few seconds, so could potentially join this fight if it's protracted at all. There's the paranoia going out. Taric ult. They need... it doesn't land in time. Will be a top lane trade as both Pun and Sparta go down. Lovely Pop Blossom from Glory. Fantastic stuff. At this time, the Lamb's Respite will give them the moment. Both teams fairly low health bars. Richard full and ready. But the rest of Cerberus very low, but Wales does not want to play with fire. Everyone backs off. Dragon continues to live.
Yeah, Wales having had the health lead overall, but Richard full health, ready to go. Still has that ultimate in back pocket. Could have turned it around if they went for something a bit aggressive. So wanted to try and push something in the bot side. Didn't quite have enough push. Richard's going to collect that. And all in all, not much is going to happen. Maybe Team Wales is going to grab the dragon now as everything settles down. Once again, finding the sort of space where the reset should be and just catching the dragon unawares, catching Cerberus unawares and picking up a free objective. But but across the map, it's still Cerberus coming out with a small gold advantage. Has been playing her waves a little bit better, catching a few more plates here and there. Just there's the 3 as the count comes on through. Just 3 extra plates. It's given a small advantage to Paishu, a small advantage to Pun. But will that really translate into anything? It's hard to say. So far, these team fights have been extremely even. Richard has not been able to get many good ults off due to that paranoia, as the Storm Razor from Artemis
Interesting.
really want...
That's interesting. Cerberus do have first timing on this second Herald. Wales is well within range to respond though, so this is not going to be picked up. Mark denied on the Raptors as well. I think he's on 3, if I've been tracking it correctly, but I'm not 100% sure. B, trying to clear out some vision, will do so successfully, as Cerberus are pushed back.
Yeah, okay, so this... I'm not going to say much. Nope, okay, just playing. As... Questioning about the Storm Racer, I think wanting to provide a little bit of an extra burst to that initial punch from Team Wales if they can catch one before all the defensive cooldowns come down. But
we've definitely got a fight
and I mean,
potentially brewing here.
Just quickly, and Aphelios has enough damage anyway, so can afford it just now.
Herald taken. I don't think you can fight now, Cerberus. Maybe they can try and just counter with the mid lane tower with the teleport. There's a Nocturne ult. They go straight onto the Callista. Nothing they can do about it. Kabang! This was shocking from Cerberus. They were caught completely split. The calls... Oh, we'll break it down in the replay, but Marby, it's ugly.
Team Wales putting their foot down, utilizing their... Taking it to a somewhat scattered Cerberus, an indecisive Cerberus, and making the indecisiveness bite them harder than it would have normally. I'm getting this crash on those Rift Tower, double towers. This is a huge turn of play for Team Wales. Breaks the gold lead open. It's actually still only 1.5k, and right here, the teleport comes down, the paranoia comes down as well, so the reactions aren't quite aware of where Glory can be. Then they gather around the Galio, they get caught up by the Pop Blossom, and they just didn't know what they wanted to do. They didn't want to fully commit to this tower, and they didn't want to fully commit to the team fight either. And so, a bad play that everyone commits to is better than a bad play that only half the team commits to. And
yeah, it's better to have it's better to have one
indecisiveness.
Yeah, it's better to have one bad idea than 2 good ideas. If they had all done one thing, I think that works out a lot better. But they were doing 3 different things. That was the 4th mark picked up for Ikigai. He does get a big range increase. And, he's on his Kraken Slayer. This Kindred is doing damage. But yeah, just not good communication there. They just get caught out. Now, don't get me wrong. It's only 1,000 gold, roughly. Like 1.2k for Wales' advantage. They have already dropped the Herald, it seems, as well. So... It's nothing too lethal.
Yeah, they cracked both towers in the mid lane, so that's going to give them a lot of pressure on taking the outer towers here. Quite easy. Glory is just able to push up there for quite a while without any real worry of a response. He had B lurking in the shadows behind him, just as a just in case, but it's all fine. So he's going to take that one down. It's going to extend the gold lead a little bit further. And this is still it's pre-18 minutes. It is 18 minutes. So there's still a lot of time before the real big objectives come into play. The Soul is now in play. We know it's once again a Hextech Soul. So high rolling today. This time around, Team Wales has split the first 2 dragons. So it's not quite as on the clock for Team Cerberus, but their team, their little safety ball, they haven't grouped up properly. They haven't put the balls down correctly. I don't even know if Elio ulted that last kerfuffle.
I think his ult was on cooldown. Pyshira didn't ult though. I mean, if he had, he would have just been pulling Elio as an extra kill. So good on him for not. I think the clock is on Cerberus, but it's just not the dragons. It's Artemis. They've picked this lovely hug box. They've got the safety circle, but Artemis has some pumped up kicks, and he's going to break up anything happy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Foster the People just caught me off guard, I suppose.
I mean, look at Aphelios. He'd be that kind of person. But here we have it engaged. The Taric ult does land. Kindred ult under it as well. Not the best layering of CC, but this is working out. They turn it around. They survive the initial thrust. Glory can't get a good Pop Blossom. This is exactly what Cerberus want. They get to. Artemis goes down. Perfectly done there. A little bit of layering was wrong, but it was really well done.
In the end, I think it worked. The layering worked out almost perfectly for them. The ending of the ultimate just before the crash down from Galio, it served them purposes fantastically. And yeah, Glory just couldn't get in, couldn't find a use for that ultimate. Got interrupted. I'm not 100% sure what stopped him, but either way, he got stopped. Couldn't have that impact.
Feel like
and
it
Artemis
was
gets blown up.
I feel like it was Elliot. That's what I'm going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we're gonna watch again, and it's just an all-on engage onto both the Kindred ultimate and the ultimate there, and just knocked back by the crash down. It looks like from the Galio ultimate. So just a little bit unlucky on that timing from Glory, but it works out. It brings this game into Cerberus's favor with the dragon lead and the gold back to even. So, as my cat walks across my desk and in front of the microphone and all that.
Everyone in chat, please say hi to Pippin. That's Marby's cat.
Don't encourage him.
He can't read. But now we do actually have Cerberus with a gold and a dragon lead, which is really good to see. That is exactly what the team fights need to look like for Cerberus. The only layering I was pointing out was I think there was a little bit of layering of Taric and Kindred ult, but honestly, very nitpicky. It was pretty damn good. Don't get me wrong. I think if they can keep doing that, then they're cooking, Marby. They're making some good food.
Yeah, so as we move on, I think the goal from Team Wales is almost to sort of play into the side lanes a little bit more. You don't win the side lane against Pun necessarily, as I say that.
Sorry, did you just imply that Cassante loses a side lane?
I was going to say you won't necessarily win the side lane too hard in the 1v1. I was thinking a lot along the lines of the wave clear, but if you then bring BJ down, bring B as well, maybe try and pop Pun and try and get some side lane pressure, side lane advantages, get some more gold into your team, actually try and break open a real gold lead in this game. That is what you're looking to do. Is right now, Pashro is just a
6k health.
Magnet.
Yeah, there is going to be a TP. Are they going to try and burst his bounty? Steals it! BJ takes away the Pop Blossom as well! It's a disaster! The Taric ult does go off. Can they finish this fight out? Artemis is gunning them down! Running through them! It's one kill back, but it just doesn't matter! Stolen Baron into 5!
Okay, that fight was... What? You had all your Hugbox tools! You had everything out! The buttons have been pressed! They just still died so damn quickly! And BJ catches them unawares with that smite, and they now can just push these towers down, just all grouped up.
100 health.
Smite. Nothing to be done. They just aren't aware. The paranoia. They don't know where Glory is. Everything comes down late, so they're just sitting on this fountain, on this lamp's respite, just doing nothing. As Artemis walks in from the bottom side, so they're corralled and they can't leave. They get gunned down, and so many towers taken off the board. Now we are back to a gold lead for the side of Team Wales, and 1.5 minutes till the next dragon. It lines up perfectly with this Baron buff. They are going to try and crack open the rest, try and find some entrance into the space, but if not, crack open that last tower outside, pick up a dragon. Team Wales are going to feel a lot more comfortable, and Artemis going towards that Bloodthirster soon. He's almost there. That's caught him right back up with Paishiro, who, as I said, just keeps finding CS out of nowhere, it seems. Stealing it all from Richard, I assume, which makes a lot of sense. It's simply a Galio, but man, the snap turnaround. This game was so close, so back and forth, and then just it still has an opportunity to swing fourth again, I suppose, but This feels dominant now.
The issue is once either team broke into the lead here, I think the team comps, it started being, okay, whatever, you use your Hugbok tools, but we just kind of keep surviving. Sparta taking a lot of damage. Equalizer's not the best, but they are going to be able to follow. Look at the Umbrella damage! Marvin, they just get burned! As two have already gone down. The turnaround Pop Blossom is good. That's one for Glory. They've already entered back, but it just doesn't matter. Look at them all! They all just die!
My brain lit. And yeah, here's the problem with Cerberus' comp. You can't actually engage. They tried to catch onto it, but you have to dump everything onto Sparta. You can't touch Artemis. And even the second Aphelios teleports in from Glory, and which threw me for a bit, but it's going to throw Cerberus right down to match point.
That they will. Wales taking themselves a 2-0 lead. Cerberus had the recipe, but didn't know how to turn on the stove. Unfortunate stuff for them. And Wales are looking good. Artemis is looking hot. Whatever had kept them down the last couple of weeks looks well and truly remedied.
Whew, yeah, absolutely clutch plays coming out from B&J. We're starting to see... I think we're starting to see a bit more of the magic, a bit more of the swing that we were hoping for from this team. Though, once again, Cerberus have been keeping it so close until it isn't, that I definitely think surely they can put it together for game 3. Maybe a little bit more standard than whatever this was, but maybe just a higher priority on an AD carry. Get Pasha something he's super comfortable with. Get him a Kai'Sa, get him a Xayah. Just something.
Yeah, I mean,
it just feels weird.
Kai'Sa was open
this draft
this
priority
game.
Feels weird.
I agree. I do very, very much agree. Now, we are going to go to another short little break. Sorry, we did have the wrong people on screen for a moment there. Forgive me. We are not those handsome Vietnamese men. We're us. Hi. But we are going to go straight to a break, so don't worry about it. We're back in about 5-10 minutes with Wales leading 2-0 in this series. Don't go anywhere. VCS English will be back on your screen. Welcome back, everybody. It's game number 3 of Team Wales taking on Cerberus. The Wales are up 2-0. Cerberus needing to find what works. My name is Carrix. With me is the ever-lovely Marbinogi. And we are in Champion Select, Nocturne, Rumble, Tristana, Poppy, LeBlanc, and one more to be removed.
One more to be removed. I would expect the Rel. There we go. They beat me to it, but there we go. The Rel is off the table. A lot of jungle priority once again, or rather this time around. ADC is a little bit left untouched. Just that Tristana knocked off the board. So what does Team Wales want to go for? A Jace comp, a Kai'Sa comp, something along those lines? The Xayah once
Makes
again,
sense to me.
Artemis looks to be the pick, and I'm not gonna fault it. So we're gonna see what the answer is. Do we take Sparta off that Cassante he's been having a lot of success on? Are we picking the Gwen early to just try and pre-counter it? No, just a Rakan makes a lot more sense. And then I imagine either filling out the bot lane or picking up a jungle of the Xayah. Maokai open, Sejuani open. These are the sort of traditional big meta picks across the other regions, notably the LCS and LCK. But Jace also a big one.
Yeah, they want to just lock that one up, try and get themselves some early bully lanes. Vi snap locked for B&J. This is...
Okay.
We are going back some patches. We just get Vi Ari.
Yeah, this is specifically the answer to the Jace mid. Definitely just thought of the, we are going to camp mid, we are going to kill this Jace. That's what I'm reading of this snap answer to the Jace coming in through here, but yeah, it's a bit of an oddball. You wouldn't expect it to coming through so early. You'd expect a few more bans to have to be thrown away, and I would not take the Sivir, I would take Kai'Sa so you can have mixed damage poke, but that's not what they're going for. So I think they're trying to set up an AP jungler of some description, or maybe a Gwen or some other AP top laner. Otherwise, I just don't know why you wouldn't slam dunk the Kai'Sa and get an absolutely fantastic comp setup.
Yeah, I mean, they just seem to not rate the Kai'Sa at all, really. They want to play the pokey style with Sivir. You know, they went that static Shiv in game 1. They think that Sivir can do the Kai'Sa thing better. I don't think I agree. But that's just the call they're making. Maokai and Nautilus being removed, so denying a really strong jungler away from here. Not that I really think he was going to go towards Maokai regardless, but good to take it off the board.
Yeah, the Maokai pairing with the Jace is a fairly common one, but taking away these engaged supports, the Alistar into the Sivir is a pretty understandable ban. Yeah, I mean, I can understand not necessarily wanting to take the Kai'Sa because it's a bit of a battle. It's a bit of a weaker laning matchup into the Xayah, but Sivir's going to be a little bit better, a little bit easier to clear the waves earlier on because you don't have to rely on getting that Shiv before you actually get wave clear. So I sort of understand it if, again, they're going to try and play through the top side of the map, but going to have to see where they want to go with that. Maokai, Sejuani now off the board. We're moving down into a bit of an unprecedented territory. Okay.
Oh, this is the best day ever for you.
Okay, it's the Blobby Boy.
You got Zach.
Blobby Boy. It's Zach. This is gonna be extremely interesting. Poppy's gone. No Alistar. You're kind of getting free reign into the back line. Sure, the knockup can be dodged a little bit by the...
Aatrox up, though.
Yeah, Aatrox up. Aatrox blind, though. And Pun's got a few other things in his back pocket. He could go to the Renekton. That's been played into the Aatrox a few times, and that's done okay. That's sort of... It's as you expect. Renekton tends to do okay early, and then the Aatrox scales into it, but with the Zac lock-in, yeah, I would expect maybe an AD top laner. I would think the Renekton makes a lot of sense. As B goes to the Leona. Once again, I think, trying to play a bit more of that hard engage, all very pick-heavy composition. Wants to try and get in, kill either Sivir or Jace, and Then...
Okay.
That's not locked, surely.
No, that's locked. I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
locked.
surely.
I'm pretty sure that's locked.
I don't know, the graphics aren't...
I know the graphics.
There's a big smiles.
The graphics are very misleading. I think we have the tentacle and the goo.
There was some bit. Yep, there was some huge smiles on the side of Cerberus. So I'm okay. Allow it.
Cerberus has the slime and the tentacles. That's the making of a good.
Kobe.
That's the making of a good Friday night, Marby. It might be the makings of a comeback in Game 3.
I don't appreciate it. I don't like that one. Okay.
You don't like that segue? You don't want to pick that one up?
No, I think we're gonna leave that there. Yeah. Okay. So it's a bit of an odd one. A double AD solo laners, a magic damage tank jungler. It's basically just a different version of your standard Maokai. Like a Maokai Renekton could just be shoved in here and it would play out much the same, except it's not as good. You don't have that reliable stun of the Ruthless Predator. You don't have the big, I'm going to clear out an entire area with Nature's Grasp. I just don't. Yeah, it's a decision. It's what they wanted to do. Let's have some fun with it.
Look, I think it's bold, but maybe that's the call they made. Like, they just want to play a side lane. I mean, I don't hate the Zac. I will say the Zac half.
No,
like,
that's fine.
I think Zac is fine. It's the Alawi that's strange. I don't know the Alawi matchup into Aatrox. I mean, she probably bullies the lane. I think Alawi pretty much bullies everyone in lane, except maybe Renekton. Should be able to hold up in the side lane as well. Like, you just never really want to fight Alawi.
Yeah, I think pretty much you're just trying to hope Pun can get a good advantage and maybe keep Sparta chained in position. Ikigai going for the Martian Boo. You got Martian Boo walking around on the Rift. Happy
Solid.
as can be. Yeah, it's the second best option, for sure. Big pool party enjoyers over here.
Yeah, I mean, valid. It's okay to be wrong. Richard, I mean, definitely losing the J skin battle, picking arguably his second worst skin, in my opinion. But regardless, we don't need to focus on skin and fashion at the moment. I do think this is going to be a fairly slow early game.
I'm just here to talk about the cross-team Skinergy from Zyra Khan working.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. They know what's up. That's very early aggression from B.
Yeah, they're just trying to get something done. It's not worked out. Artemis gets kind of wrecked. Forced to just run back. Used a ghost as well. So 1-for-1 on the summoners, but Artemis loses a lot of health.
Yeah, that's a bit of an interesting one. So obviously the Guardian's gonna pay out a little bit more, especially because that Glacial Augment didn't really pay off. They weren't really on it for very long, and the Ignite just committed onto Artemis, pushes them right back, and this actually gives Cerberus the race to level 2 because Artemis can't step up. And now, Sivir, who shouldn't necessarily be winning that race and should be being pushed under tower, at least for the first few levels, is going to just run the state of the bot lane, and B is gonna try and do their best to get as much pressure back as they can, but nope, this lane is kind of over.
He's flashing in. They're trying to do as much as they can. They just need to get chunks. Artemis takes a boomerang blade. BJ walking in. He needs to try and find onto Elio, but the knockup's just too good. He can't do anything. Look at Artemis. He's dying to minions.
Yeah, BJ just unable to do anything. They're trying so hard and they've committed so much. This
disaster.
This is over. That's over. Now your entire opportunity bot lane is gone. You have to play somewhere else. You're not going to really succeed in the top side because it's Alawi. So back to just camp. I guess we're just camping mid. That's my main point of action for the side of BJ. That's my remedy right now. But that seems fairly obvious. You just need to put Ikigai on the bot side of the map. So he can protect his bot lane, protect his mid lane, just leave top side alone. Once they hit 6, they're fine. And Ikigai, of course, he's gotten to free farm because he hasn't had any issue. He hasn't had to go up to lanes. BJ
Oh, Pun and Sparta having a biff. Can he find anything? No, he can't. The Alawi dies early.
How on earth? That's... Alright, that's not meant to happen.
That's not meant to happen at all.
I haven't seen an Alawi for a while, but that's not meant to happen.
Ikigai going into mid. Glory sidestepping it well. We are going to hopefully get a replay of topside. Here we go. So how does this happen? I think he just gets caught under tower.
Yeah, just catches that and...
Yeah.
Probably
you
just tower shot. No, he doesn't even need the tower.
It doesn't matter.
It's every sweet spot. Oh,
he took a tower shot and he took 3 sweet spots from Aatrox. No champion in the game beats him while taking all 3 sweet spots. This is not happening.
Yeah. I think without the tower shot, Pun gets away and has to reset, but with that tower shot, that's the kill, and yeah, now that's gonna signal that's gonna be quite nice for Sparta. It's gonna keep him a little bit happier.
BJ having a mosey down to the bot lane. Paishiro with a decent spell shield keeps himself safe, and Elio, grand entrance, is so good against Leonovi.
Yeah, they're trying again and again, but they can't layer the CC properly. This time around it's the spell shield. Before it was Zenith Blade taking them to the wrong target. And thank God they got that deep water. They might have been in a real bad spot. 14 whales. And now it's BJ has decided his goal is to try and bail out this bot side, and I'm not 100% sure that's the way to go. I mean, Pytro's backed. He's picked up a cull, and he's just going to keep crushing it from here on out. It's just going to be a bit too hard to get on top of it. You kind of have to focus Elio to get the kill, but he's slippery as hell. He's a lot slipperier than Pythro, even with that. But you can't let Elio interrupt you with that grand entrance. You can't let that spell shield give them the health back. It's just a hard lane to gank. So I would recommend not doing it. Glorious now 6. He can set up the charms onto Richard. BJ still level 4. Still trying to farm. Still trying to get towards that ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tricky because as Vi, just saying I need to power farm always feels terrible. Richard does get chunked out. The charm doesn't land. BJ is going to go for a wander. Not actually sure if he stole that. I don't think he did. No. He had the smite. So yeah, BJ's floundering a little bit. Largely, it's not really his fault because he's actually dead even on CS. But it's just that he constantly has to go triage the bot lane. Which has really just come from really good play from Elio. I think Elio's had a blinder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a little bit confused by the Leona pick. I mean, I guess there were a lot of support bans, but I almost think you could have gone for... You didn't necessarily need the extra engage that aggressively, but it is what it is. They've got this lock in now, and it's just not found the success. That level 1 trade going completely awry ruined the lane for them. And now Dragon is on the table. They found a reset. There's both teams pushing their junglers down here.
Into mid. The level up timer was incredible for BJ, and they will pick up first blood. Well, it's not first blood, sorry. Second blood on to Richard.
Yeah, and with that, and Glory actually ulting halfway down the lane so he can get there in time. They did not want to miss that opportunity. Using that charge early actually pays off huge. They get that kill onto Richard. That's what I wanted to see.
Look at the level up timer. He smites it. Oh, BJ, I love you.
Yeah, just absolutely insane. Knew how much experience he was on. Called it with Glory, who ults halfway up the lane, as mentioned, and it's just the smallest things. Just these tiny margins that Team Wales played very well to catch that window. I'm gonna lose this Dragon most likely, given the reset from Artemis, but that's a little bit of life they needed. That's a little bit more gold in their pockets. That gives Ari the opportunity to race towards her items and start teaming up with BJ and get to the side lanes and start breaking the game. Maybe recover. If you bring Ari down alongside, maybe bring 4 people. Maybe you'll get a kill bot side with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what has to happen here is you have to just play around the fact that your Vi has more items than Zach. Good flash from Glory to get away from Elio's engage, and you can try and go for the Rift Herald. I assume he's on it at the moment. There are a lot of pings. I think if Wales gets this Rift Herald, they're in a really good position. because they're ahead in gold.
Yep.
Despite the bot lane vortex, they are ahead. Sparta and
good
Pun.
Lord, Sparta.
You do not fight him in there. Oh, he goes down.
Oh my Lord,
BJ, you don't win.
Sparta.
BJ, you don't win. Oh, actually, he might. He's nowhere near. He's nowhere near walls. Yeah, he's nowhere near any walls. He does win, as he does finally get that last punch, makes it a 1-for-1.
Sparta's health just melted. He went from like 100 to like 10%, almost instantly. And then the tentacle here's the tentacle we prepared earlier. That just knocks him dead. BJ able to recover, it's good. Still gonna lose a massive wave as Ikigai will crash that. And man, this top lane, Alawi is paying off.
You can't.
Comfy here.
He just
and then just
There's just too many tentacles. If you get hit by the test of spirit, you just can't fight. You cannot fight if you've been tagged by the test of spirit.
Oh, it's not even the tentacles, it's just the fadeaway of the spirit. But yeah, Ikigai gets cleaned up here. It's a nice response from BJ, able to recover it, but it's still a huge from Pun. Denies a lot of resource to the side of the Aatrox. That's what you need, because Pun is meant to be spiking right about now. maybe a little bit more gold given that Black Cleaver, but Sparta's hopefully going to be getting a lot stronger as he goes on. Interested to see how he finishes out this build path right now. He's got the deck, so will he go for that full lethality Aatrox we see from the likes of Zeus? Or will he go a little bit more Bruiser, just stopping for that Drakthar, that Dusk Blade?
I have to find out, as he does have a good position here at the moment. Pun chunked out, but with 3 tentacles up, I still don't like stepping up. Oh, he flashes forward and does get a kill. Really good play there by Sparta. Really lethal.
He did not care about what you had to say. He stepped up.
I didn't expect him to flash the 3rd sweet spot onto him. I will admit, I was caught off guard. That was really good by Sparta. That's why he is a professional player, and I'm in gold.
That's why he's a professional player, and I haven't played in like a month. It is what it is. Yeah, like this is a very entertaining back and forth from the top side, and Part is gonna be rewarded with an extra plate. Find some Krugs. He's gonna have a really nice time off of that kill. And now BJ is picked up. He's got this Rift Herald. He's lurking in the mid lane. Elio also lurking too. But they know this is happening. They know. They're waiting for the goal.
Yeah, I mean, hi, Ikigai. Do you want to be here? This was very, very poorly done. This counter gank was very late. Ineffectual. Ikigai just has to flash away, and Richard's already dead. Cerberus, they got off to a good start in the bot line, but they've just been fucking... Oh, sorry. Jeez, I don't know where that came from. Jeez, I'm just gonna stop.
Welcome to special guest Officio. That's one for the old heads, I guess, at this stage. Yeah, and I think the bot lane may be about to change its tune. Ultimate Force traded for Ghost, so actually Artemis kind of coming out worse there, but he's caught up pretty decently on the CS. He's going to be behind that cull, but yeah, I'm going to need a little bit of a look at the replay. They definitely knew the gank was coming into the mid lane, but yeah, just Ikigai a little bit slow on the elastic slingshot. Elio a little bit slow to the play overall, and yeah, Richard just disappeared under the wrath of Glory and BJ. And Big, he was there too. He definitely came up to that show, but once again, we'll look at the top lane because that's where the excitement's been, as first items starting to come on through now for Cerberus. We're gonna probably start seeing a bit of a wraparound in lanes. An early swap of the mid lane, of the Sivir to the mid lane would make a lot of sense to me. Given that Static Shiv has now been bought, you can try and keep Ahri away from this tower that's very low, thanks to that Rift Herald. But so far, we're just keeping it even. And once again, by hovering around,
Sparta just popped ult. There's a fight in the top lane, and Pun is going to come out on top.
Fellas, top laners, chill. We're just trading solo kills back and forth at this point. And now it's Sparta's turn to get a solo kill.
TP coming in. I mean, yeah, there is no help coming. Elio just leaves. They knew he was just done. A lot of resources committed, but this does get them a dragon as well. It's traded for some gold in the top side for Pun. So overall, just good stuff for Team Wales, but Cerberus cut their losses pretty expertly.
Yeah, you're not worried about that top side that much. If you're Team Wales, like, yeah, you maybe give up another plate, but you get a dragon. You've already taken first tower. You're gonna get a lot of damage down onto this bottom lane tower too. You might even take it as what is going on here? Okay, the angle of the camera looks really through. I thought we were at like the red side tower for a bit.
Project L?
Yeah. Lands the E, lands the ult, just dives under tower, just had more health. Yeah, no, I thought, why are we under this tower? We weren't. We were just looking at the right and wrong.
Very interesting camera angle, but it did show off Pun. Just, I don't know if Alawi has too much mechanical expression, but does what was there very well. Is doing fine in the matchup. I mean, I say that. He's winning, but not by necessarily a huge amount. Maybe not by as much as an Alawi wants to. Cerberus will translate the pressure into a Herald, bringing themselves closer on the objective count. Don't know if you really wanted that one, but no punish.
Yeah, just trying to force a little, just trying to make them sweat a bit, just trying to bluff his way in. I suppose, and now they can bring everybody topside, and now do we see the Alawi magic? How big's the ultimate?
He does land the test of spirit, but too much burst Pun will just get
No. This is not the trauma I remember from the early days. 2015 was the release. I don't know. Anyway,
Herald dropped in mid, not able to actually only able to just deal its charge damage. There was no wave to follow up on, but still decent structure damage. Richard on the bottom side will probably be able to break this open just about. I don't think Sparta's close enough to answer it in time, so Cerberus do manage to fire back with a little bit of gold, but they are still about 4.5k down, Marby.
Yeah, not able to really use that Rift Tower to crack something on the drop itself, but they do get a tower. They pick it up. They have a very low tower on the top side, so if they wanted to rotate up there and pick that up as well, it's definitely an option available to them now. But it's Team Wales who have decided to control the top side. They're the ones making their moves up here. They're ready to help Glory push this in, try and crack this tower, continue opening up the map. They don't want to give too much space to the mid lane, I would expect.
Cerberus?
Alright.
Have managed to reinforce the correct side of the map, so Wales not able to make any play, but still sort of just choking them out. Just slowly moving around the map. Wales is calling every shot. They're not over-forcing anything. I think they are just going to sort of play around dragons. So we're probably not going to see anything for about 2 minutes, at least. As they sort of just walk another wave in. Richard's in trouble. There's a Vial. There's just no counterplay available. Richard just gets cleaned up, farmed like a gromp. And I mean, I think this is hard for Cerberus.
Yeah, they don't have any control over their own jungle. They haven't really put anything in. Ikigai's been completely absent on the Zac. He's got his Radiant Virtue. You can just kind of chain gank from here. You don't need to farm that much. After this point, it's especially at this stage in the game, like, you're gonna be a bit squishier for sure, but you have if you play around your blobs well enough, if you land enough abilities, if you team up with your carries and your lanes, you can get something done. But
I mean, the Zac has been invisible this game.
Absolutely.
Ikigai has, he's 0-0-0. He has done absolutely nothing. He's had very little opportunity to. I don't actually think it's entirely his fault, but he hasn't made any opportunities, while I think B&J has been omnipresent on the Vi, has been absolutely everywhere. And despite the fact that bot lane was an unmitigated disaster for Team Wales this game, Artemis is now up 20 CS.
Yeah, Pasha has kind of lost his ability to find the CS. He just hasn't been walking around. He hasn't been finding it. And I mean, yeah, the initiative is not entirely on Ikigai. He's 0-0-0, but so is Elio on this Rakan. And both of these two, I feel like I'm only now seeing them on the same screen as each other. As I say that, Elio backs, of course. But these two should be hand in hand, walking through the jungle, trying to catch whoever they can.
B could be in trouble. Good flash. Does get yoinked back in, taking a fair bit of damage, drops down the ult. Glory misses the charm, but does land the Everfrost. They try really hard, but now with a teleport coming in, Sparta can keep them pinched. B&J lurking as well, has access to the ult. Sparta taking a lot of damage, actually is just going to go down. Team Wales has kind of messed this up. B&J in trouble, needs to find a Vault Breaker, can't do it. Shut down for Ikigai, and it's crazy what happens when the Ricard and the Zach work together.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens when you completely have no idea what you're doing in that fight. They tried to defend B, they got B out, and then Glory was like, alright, I'm chunked to half, I'm done. And B&J and Sparta's teleporting in, B&J is going for the wraparound, and they still commit to it, even though Glory's already started walking the other direction, B's already walking the other direction. Just decisions were made, but they weren't made together. And we saw that problem coming out of Cerberus in the last game. We're seeing it coming out from Team Wales in this fight at least. It's one blunder. They're still 4,000 gold ahead. They lose one dragon. It's not the end of the world for this team, but let's put a halt on these things. I want to see cohesive teams run at each other and one of them win. Artemis doesn't know what he's doing. He's just walking.
Great play by Ikigai.
There is no idea.
Yeah, Ikigai completely stuffs the Aatrox engage there. Really well done on the Zac.
Oh yeah, and catches B using the drag back on the ward with the stretchy hands. Just Ikigai, we just talked enough smack, and he decided to step up. That's how it goes. Often,
yeah, he heard us
in the VCS. You just
hey,
dog attack.
Yeah, he's just he's going a bit nuts in his crate, even though the door's not locked. But it's just how puppies are. Anyway, back to things people care about. It is League of Legends.
Aww.
Artemis continuing to farm up. Of course, so is Paishiro. Good ult, stopping anything from Ikigai. It's going to turn into a fight as well, as Ikigai's taken down the passive form immediately. Sparta doing an excellent job off to the side. Pun just dies. They clean up the blobs. And just as Cerberus looks like they get something back, they just lose two for kind of nothing.
Pun only ulted, and Artemis went to like single digits. Gah!
Single digits.
Two lots of tentacles.
Single digits is enough though, as that's going to be barren for Wales.
Oh yeah, absolute. Catch the engage is beautiful. The engage catch is beautiful from Team Wales. I'm just flabbergasted how much damage Alawi does. Anyway, they're going to pick up this Baron. They're going to reset. There's still a while to Dragons, and there's not a lot of towers outside the base, so this provides the perfect opportunity to set up that 4-1 in top and mid. You're going to be able to try and crack open these towers, try and crack open the base, hopefully on the top side, so you get a lot more pressure play around for the Dragon. And it's just a beautiful ult from Artemis, and then Ikigai is just too far extended. Sparta completely halts the follow-up from 3 members, and then despite Pun's teleport, despite him getting in, yeah, he gets a lot of damage down onto Artemis, who walks right back into it. But nothing done. The Cerberus front lane falls apart. Sparta just played the gatekeeper so damn well.
Yeah, he really did. And that's now grown the lead out to about 7k, just under. Wales are lurking, looking for Cerberus. In they go. They find them. We've got a brawl in the jungle over absolutely nothing. Pun will pick up, not pick up one. He'll fall as Richard in some trouble, zoning away from Glory. BJ very low, needs to find a way out. Can't do it. Paisharo cleans him up. And in a fight over a raptor camp, 10 people participate in 4 fall.
Yep, just
welcome to the VCS.
Once again, a lot of damage coming out from the Zalawi, but the conversion not terribly there from either side. A lot of short range from the side of Team Wales, a short range AD carry as well. The auto attack's not able to really follow through, and neither side getting an advantage. It's just a support and jungle trade on both sides. Yeah, I don't think they were necessarily expecting to walk right into Alawi, but it's a nice big knockup from Elio that sort of stops Sparta and Artemis from chasing forward, and Ikigai is just kind of tanky. So Pun dies, Jungle BJ dies, B dies, Elio dies, nothing achieved, nobody wins. Though I guess Cerberus do win because it completely stalled out the Baron push, and now it's just, okay, we are going to use the rest of this purely to get a dragon and just bring that score to level.
Yeah, I mean, when you're behind, even trades are a win for you, just in general. They do have Richard now on 2.5 items, same for Paisharo. I think Cerberus is still in a very hard position, don't get me wrong, but you still have a chance, you still have a Siva.
BJ, what are you doing?
He's hanging out. He's hanging out. I almost think he's just setting up for the dragon fight. He's just going to come in from a mad angle. There's no way they know he's there.
He's playing the longest Kong imaginable.
Well, now they know.
Now he's spotted.
In he go. He's just... Okay, BJ, shocker. But they trade it back onto Pun. Of course, a jungler being down around an objective, not what Team Wales wants. Ikigai going low, but is taking lovely charm. Oh. Lovely dodge as well. Elio is in the quickening, trying to get anything done. Can't quite do it. Dodges away from the infernal chains. A bit more poke from Jace. You need to stop hitting this dragon. You don't have a smite. It doesn't matter. As Ikigai just doesn't smite, and Team Wales pick themselves up a second dragon.
Yeah, just... Alright, Artemis just gets that, had enough feathers on the ground apparently. Shouldn't outdo a smite, but Ikigai just not expecting it, I suppose, but... Yeah! BJ, you're not tanky enough to do that flank. Not that early, at the very... Like, he just gets completely deleted.
What's he doing?
It's a mirror... Pun is kind of in the same situation. He's not tanky enough to be left alone. Gets caught out, so that's a bit more of a good play from the side of Team Wales. But BJ just going for a walk.
BJ was cooking, alright? What was he cooking? But yeah, I mean, look, this is a lot of feathers. I'm curious how hard this actually gets hit. I mean, I think that was at the same time as something else. That was about 1,000 damage. That was hard to smite. He should have won. He should have, but it was pretty close to a 50-50. To be fair to Ikigai.
Yeah, it's not the biggest. It's not the end of the world again. The dragon, like, you would have loved to be on Soul Point, but it's not the biggest. It's not what we're going to criticize him that much for. Glory playing so damn well.
Yeah, he's really great.
Convert. And now we see BJ. He's in the river again. He's looking for something. Nothing on the map, mate. There's nothing on the map, but he's not, like, pairing up with his team. He's kind of just... What are you doing? What are you doing?
He's doing what he wants. Leave him alone. Linking back up with the team. As... Pushing up mid is Team Wales. There's nothing on the map at the moment, so they're just kind of chilling. You'd love to get Artemis somewhere that he can just farm, because he is just going to continue growing this lead over Paisharo. 40 CS just about up at the moment. Is translated into about a BF sword. Sparta going for it. Of course, it is a Rakan though, so you're never actually going to get the pullback on the Infernal Chain.
Yeah, the Baron's about to spawn, but neither team has really done much in the way of setting up for it. There's a couple of deep wards in the jungle for the side of Team Wales, but Yeah, the vision around that area is fairly sparse for both of these teams, so they just want to scrap. That's the energy we're getting from this mid lane harassment, but now they're just going to send Artemis and B to take it down, and don't tell me they're going to successfully two-man this.
I mean, if you're Cerberus and you see BJ...
mid lane, they don't know.
Yeah, like, you're looking at BJ, you're like, well, they're obviously not on Baron, but they were.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a dumb game, Barbie.
This is insane. Yeah, you don't see BJ, but you do see BJ, but you also don't see Artemis. You don't see B. You wouldn't expect them to back at the same time. You had a blue trinket. That's all I'm saying.
You could have checked.
You could have just thrown one of those over there. You could have elastic
regardless,
slingshot over there quickly.
We live in the world where Team Wales have got Baron. I agree with you that I don't think they should have, but in this timeline, they did get it. So we just have to deal with that. As a charm lands onto Elio, there's not going to be enough follow-up from Glory. Of course, Ricardo, very slippery, will just get away. But now, Baron power play is online.
Baron power play, you've got 2 minutes to work with. You've got a minute till the dragon. You should be able to set this one up pretty effectively, so it's not just a weird back and forth. This time around, BJ sitting next to B, which is good to see. You want to see the combo up of the CC. Maybe like a flank is definitely not a bad thing, but you want to bring Sparta with you on that flank, I would have to say. As it's just going to be shoving waves, just going to be collecting this dragon most likely, and I don't think Cerberus are going to really look to counter it. I think they're more than happy. They're fairly happy to just let this one sit, maybe throw some poke in with the Jace, with the Sivir, and try not to get dove right here.
BJ is very far forward, has the Vault Breaker. Apologies, my menagerie is fighting. We're all good. It doesn't really go anywhere. They just back off. We do have a Jace on the outside. There we go. An engage comes in. Pun gets one shot. And this Alawi has not worked out.
No, it has not. This Vi, however, has absolutely been finding these...
Oh, and they interrupt the jump. Ikigai in trouble. BJ into the backside. Paishiro will go down to Sparta. Teleport called in, but Richard is here so late. Ikigai surviving for a long, long time, but it just doesn't matter because he will eventually fall through the passive. Artemis getting that one. Sparta chasing the last two away. This should be an inhib into an easy dragon.
Easy cleanup. Maybe they can have enough time with that wave as close as it is.
Oh, they're going to TP, so they're going to go for it.
Alright.
They want to end this.
Bit of a bold one.
I don't blame them.
Seconds.
You're up 2-0. You've got 20 seconds. I think they get this one easily. Elio's not even really trying to contest it. Cerberus knows they're done. They're dusted. They are out. Wales will pick themselves up a 3-0, a dominant performance in my opinion, and they will move on to the next round of the VCS Summer Playoffs.
Yeah, they seem to have got it together. The week off has done them well. It's been very kind to them indeed, and a really great display from all these players. Few missteps for sure. Definitely not the team that was promised by any means still, but they're gonna feel happy. They're gonna keep alive in this lower bracket. They're gonna go up to play against the winner of Flash and Cyclone Buffalo, and they're just gonna keep trucking on. They needed this win. The momentum is now back in their favor. Gonna see if they can reach the top of the table again. They finished second. They had such a long streak of wins, and now that maybe they're hoping to string another one together.
We'll have to see. They were the team that was promised. I'll have to see if they do finally deliver on that one, but they do pick themselves up the win here, and that is what matters. Cerberus, unfortunately, just falling down, really not able to get anything going this series. They had some interesting stuff. They had that Alawi in this game, the game 2, the hug box composition. I think it was clever, but I just think in the end, Team Wales was the better team. I did predict it was going to go one of two ways. Either Cerberus was going to win or Wales was going to 3-0. So Wales did pick up that 3-0. Here we are, and I'm just saying.
I'm done. I get it.
I wasn't. I didn't say what you predicted. You just reminded everyone. But anyway,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, after you've seen that, do you think Wales is back? Do you think they can make a deep run in this playoffs?
I'm hopeful. I'm a fan. I'm a fangirl of the Wales, of Glory in particular. I'm fairly hopeful. I think it's a good sign. I would have hesitations as they go up against Team Secret in or Garmin a lower bracket final, but I think they will get to that final. I think third place should be on the cards for them at bare minimum, but at the top, at the peak of this team, they can absolutely win the split. So hopefully this has been the fire they needed.
Well, with that, we will be saying good night. Thank you for joining us here on VCS English. We will be back tomorrow to bring you more playoffs. Just a reminder, Wales has won tonight, 3-0 over Cerberus. And tomorrow we will have Saigon Buffalo taking on Flash. See you then, guys. Have a good one. We love you all.